Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the world's most exciting classroom. My name is Joe Gabowski, and I'll be your host for today. Big shout out to all the classrooms joining us. I know the timing's a little bit strange with daylight savings. It is 9 o'clock Eastern, and it is 1 p.m. in the UK. But in a couple weeks, once we hit April, things will be back to normal, 9 o'clock Eastern and 2 o'clock in the UK for the world's most exciting classroom. So I think the best way to start off is to find out where the Oosterschelde is right now. So let me share my screen and let's do a little bit of that. So here we go. We know that not so long ago we left Valparasio in Chile, and here we go making our way along some open water. And you can see a destination up there, Callao, in Peru. We are getting pretty darn close. Of course, take some time to mess around with this map at DARWIN200.com, and you can check out some of the photos recently updated by those on board. So let me see if I can pick a couple here. There is a shot of the sails illuminated at night. That's really, really cool. We'll check that out. We'll talk to Jesse shortly and see what that was like. Here are a couple more shots. There, in fact, is Jesse lounging up at the front in the netting. There we go. I think I see Rodri back there as well. Very cool. So spend a little time at darwin200.com and mess around with the map. It's a beautiful map. You can see where we've come all the way from Plymouth in the United Kingdom back in August, across the Atlantic Ocean, along both the east and western coasts of South America. And we are about to arrive in Callao, Peru, which is just outside of Lima. So let's kill that screen share for now. And let's get into some action. I'm going to bring the Darwin 200 in with us live right now. My colleague, Jesse Hildebrand. Jesse, how you doing?
I am fantastic, Joe. It is the coolest thing ever to be on board the Oosterschelde. And honestly, having followed along with Darwin 200 for the last few months, it's been amazing to see it. All you kids get the chance to check it out on the classes, on the website, on social media and more. But being on the ship is a truly special, life-altering experience, as you can tell from my ridiculous grin for the entire minute of talking so far.
All right. Well, give us the full update. We connected with you briefly last week. You were just kind of getting underway. So what's life like on the ship? What's going on?
Life is incredible on the ship. And last week when you caught up with me, I was just getting over the worst seasickness of my life. The first day on board, we had a 4 to 5 meter swell. So it was insane waves. The ship was sort of like a washing machine doing this in the water. So I spent about 30 hours sitting up wishing I was not alive anymore. But now got my sea legs. It's been a little over a week. We've gone a week without seeing land, actually. And now we've just seen land literally about an hour ago. We got off the coast of Sangallan Island, so Sangallan. You guys can all look that up. It's a really, really special place. And we're heading up the coast now to something called the Islas Ballestas, the Little Galapagos, which should have a ton of wildlife. We've had some pelicans, we've had some sea lions and dolphins this morning. And life on board the ship has been just incredible. We've got a group of about 28 people on board. 7 or 8 sailors, so people are taking care of us every day, making sure we're getting where we need to go. We've got Lucas in the galley. He's making incredible meals 3 times a day. And we've just had the chance to have so much fun on board the ship. I'm sure Joe can share these pictures a little bit later, and I can get them to all our classes that signed up today. But we had a pool party on deck the other day and a sail where we made a whole little pool on the deck of the ship in the Pacific Ocean. That was pretty wild. We got the chance to helm the ship at night. So going out on the ship in the darkness, you can barely see anything. You just see the outline of the ship and this lit up compass in front of you. And that's what you have to guide with this incredible, big, perfect, romantic steering wheel, everything that you'd ever hope for on a ship like this. It's such a special opportunity. I've had the chance to go up the rigging, so up over 90 feet or 25 meters up in the air to look over the ship, the whole ocean. A few days ago, we were in a place where it was about 200 miles to the coast of South America. It was about 5,000 miles across the Pacific. And it was about 4 kilometers straight down. So it was about as far as you can be on planet Earth from land, from other people. It sort of felt like being at the helm of a spaceship. It was a really, really cool experience. And yeah, that's a little bit of sort of everything. And anything else we can share, let me know.
All right. We just lost your image, Jesse. Oh, there we go.
You're
back.
I'm back.
So we've been having some gear adventures on the ship. The maritime unit, which we usually use, has gone down. So I'm heading out on the weekend to try and bring a new one to the ship, and hopefully we can get that running again. But this is holding out for us, so let's keep our fingers crossed that it's going to hold out for today. So I think, Jesse, while we have you and it's nice and clear, let's get some questions from classrooms.
Please.
All right. In Linwood, Ontario, we have some grade 6s. They hang out with us all the time here. How are we doing, grade 6s?
How are we doing, grade 6s?
Hey!
Do you have a couple questions for Jesse about life on the ship?
Yeah. Okay, anybody have any questions for Jesse? Want to come up? All right, come on up. All right. Our first question comes to you from Paul. He's just making his way to the front of the classroom.
Amazing.
Is it scary on the top, way on the top of the ship?
What was it like being on the top of the ship?
Yeah, is it scary?
Oh, you know what? I kind of thought it would be scary. I'm a little bit afraid of heights. Like if I'm near the edge of a cliff, I don't go to the edge of the cliff. I stay like 10 feet back. So I was wondering if I'd feel nervous. But you know what? For whatever reason, you feel really, really safe. You do have these big hooks that you hook into the ladder as you climb up. So every time you take a step, you hook in, hook in. So you're always secured in like 3 different ways. And I can honestly say I never felt in danger. I felt really, really safe when I was at the top. I even went out on the little yard arms with the big wooden piece that holds up the sail, and I never felt in danger. It was really special. We've been trying to encourage all the people that are afraid to do it. So super fun.
Okay. Are there any other questions for Jesse this morning? Anything yet? Matilda?
Okay.
Matilda has one more.
Okay, perfect.
Here we go.
Is it scary when there's a big storm?
Oh, sorry,
Big
it's getting a
storm,
little
Jesse.
loud here. Yeah, Joe, tell me again.
Is it scary when the waves are kind of, you probably weren't thinking about that. You're probably thinking about other things when the waves were big.
Yeah, so I gotta say, the first day, so we were sitting in port and it's totally smooth water and it's beautiful. And then we set sail, and I mean, the waves, like you're on the ship and the waves are higher than you. They look like they're higher than the ship. They look like they're higher than the mast, and that's just in your head. But it's a little scary. You sort of have to trust the fact that it's an amazing vessel. It's been going for 100 years. It's got the best possible crew. So you don't feel in danger because of that. But if you were going out and you didn't have that confidence, it's a little sketchy when you're in those big waves. It feels very queasy. It's not the best feeling. Great question.
Right. We'll come back to your crew. We've got a lot of speakers and guests joining us today, so we'll do some more Q&A. Miss Colburn's crew is joining us virtually, some grade 7 and 8s. How are we doing today?
We're doing fantastic.
Awesome.
We've been following you for quite a while. This is probably our 4th presentation here. We're loving it. I have to say, my kids feel like they're actually outside of the screen, and we're taking our learning outside of the classroom, and you're here to provide that for us, and we so thank you. It's amazing. So we're just developing our questions now, so we'll certainly have some for you in a minute. Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
Sounds good. Mrs. Ball's crew is joining us in Godrich. How are we doing, biology crew?
Good. I guess I should turn my screen around so you can see everyone.
Sure.
Hey, guys.
There they are.
Everyone.
This is grade 12 biology. So we just wondered, could you give us some of the biology that's going on board the boat?
Yeah, so today has actually been our biggest day for wildlife and biodiversity in general, because we went off the coast. When we were getting on the ship, we took a little Zodiac, so a little dinghy boat, out to the big ship to get on. And while we were in that harbor, we saw some penguins, which is really cool. And we saw a really cool cormorant. So I know our Ontario classes, you guys will be familiar with cormorants. These ones had a really bright red beak and sort of crest over the eye, so they were really, really pretty. But then once we got out to sea, honestly, we've been so far from land, we've seen very little. We've seen a few seabirds every day. So as you're going along on the ship, you have these big, beautiful masked boobies that are sort of flying around the ship and doing circles. They're a gorgeous bird. We've got little shearwaters, petrels. We did see 1 or 2 sea lions the other day, so that was exciting. And then one morning, we had 2 common dolphins spinning off the bow. So I got to go sit out in the front, and the dolphins are just spinning around the front of the ship. And we had 2 pilot whales that sort of went near under the ship. So that was beautiful. But today, and in fact, in about 30 minutes, we're going to be seeing the absolute most wildlife we've seen in the whole voyage so far, because we're back at land, we're back at shore. It's actually a wildlife reserve that a lot of tourist boats go to. So I'll be sending Joe some pictures, and of course, you guys can follow up with me too, and I'll get you all the info on everything we see. But whenever you do see something, when there's not that much, it's really, really special, and all of us are glued to the deck when that happens. Great question.
Very, very cool. All right. Viola Desmond, we have a crew there joining us. How are we doing today?
Hi there. Yes, we are here, and we do have a question. I'm going to turn it over to Zarar.
Hello. What is the main purpose of your journey?
Of my journey? Well, I'm thrilled. I mean, the DARWIN200 in general, and Joe can speak to this a little more over the whole course of the broadcast, has been to provide these amazing opportunities for conservationists, young conservationists, to get their start, do these incredible projects. I will talk some of them later, which is really exciting. for me, it's this opportunity to bring a firsthand account of the voyage back to you guys. You guys are familiar with me from all these broadcasts. Joe and I get the chance to host these every single day, which is so exciting. And so Joe's going on the leg right after me. I'm getting the chance to go on this leg to bring and share some of the stories of what it's like actually being on board this beautiful ship during this incredible voyage. And I'm so, so lucky. So that's it. It's education. It's to help inspire the next generation of kids like you, get you excited about conservation, wildlife, nature, global exploration. The world's a pretty wonderful place if you get the chance to go out and see it. And so that's been a lot of fun over the last 10 days.
All right. Very cool, Jesse. Mr. Hancock's crew, I think their announcements might be going, but if they're finished, Mr. Hancock, let's squeeze in a question for Jesse. If not, we'll give it another minute to let your announcements wrap up.
Well, and Joe, I'll say too, and I think our classes know this, you can certainly pass this along, but like if you guys have extra questions about life on board the ship, email them to us at Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. I will get you all those answers today or tomorrow. Like anything you want to know, send me 100. I don't care. That's the whole point, and I'd love to hear from you if we don't get them live right now this morning.
Yeah, there's the email up there for the classrooms. It's just the initials, EBTSOYP at gmail.com. I think I see Mr. Hancock now. Let's bring him in.
Awesome. We're back.
Hey, guys.
Can you hear us loud and clear? We're all good this time? Yeah. Awesome. We had a question actually the other day. I'm not sure if it was asked during the announcements, but what was it like when you couldn't see land in any direction? How were you feeling, Jesse?
Like it honestly, I think I said in the intro, like it feels like being on a spaceship. It's one of the most surreal experiences I've ever had, especially at night. Like there's one thing during the day where you see the horizon in every direction, it's one thing, but at night you literally see the outline of the ship, maybe a vague horizon, and like the water 10 feet off the side of the vessel. And that's really special. And especially where we were, where it's so far from land. And so, I mean, you have the whole Pacific to your west for thousands and thousands of miles all the way to Asia and Australia. It's profound. It's a little surreal. It's a really special thing to have experienced. And the thought that we had so far beneath us too, as our captain put it, the closest land was straight down because it was 4 kilometers to the seafloor. But that's a really deep body of water, way deeper than anything we get, in Ontario where I grew up in the lakes. So yeah, I'm as you can tell, it's it's a very moving experience to be out on the ship like that, especially at night. Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. So Jesse, I know you've been really hoping for bioluminescence. Have you had any luck?
Yes. So, okay. My all-time dream for the kids who don't know is when ships go through water in the ocean, they often kick up a trail of organisms that glow or shine or flicker with light in some fashion. And so, yeah, every single night without fail, if you go out on the back of the ship, the engine, when we've been running the engine, kicks up sort of a yellow trail through the water. And there's all these little flickers. So it's like shooting stars or twinkling starlight in the water behind the ship. It is absolutely mesmerizing. And then last night, just as a bonus to this, Joe, too, the captain mentioned if you shine a flashlight out the ship at night over the water, you'll see squid jumping all the time. And you do. They're everywhere, which is really, really cool. And I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but the one piece of wildlife I forgot to mention from Miss Ball's class, flying fish everywhere, all the time, every day. You're never not seeing flying fish. They're amazing. If you haven't heard of or seen flying fish, you should look up a picture or video right now. They are an incredible creature. So those things have been really, really extra special on board.
All right. Very cool, Jesse. Now, before we let you go, I want to roll the dice. Actually, I've got, let's see. Okay. So quickly, Miss, our class from Dalewood would like to know, when you're sailing far from land, did you have any fears or any thoughts that went through your mind?
No, I wondered that, honestly. Like I thought, okay, you're out of sight of land for a few days. Do you feel like you're in danger on the ship? Do you feel weird in any way? And honestly, you don't. Like, it's quite amazing how, having been someone, like the most I'd ever been on a ship of any kind is a few hours on the ferry to Newfoundland when I moved there a year and a half ago. And so I thought, maybe it will feel a little scary. Maybe it'll feel a little remote and removed from the rest of mankind and maybe possibly dangerous. And the ship becomes your home. It's such a beautiful vessel for one thing, but again, you have all these people that are really, really trained, that have decades of experience, so you never feel in danger that way. And frankly, for several days now, it's been really, really calm. So it's not quite like being on glass, but you're on a really smooth sea for all day long. And so there's nothing that really threatens you. You are in constant communication with other ships too, so you can always, there's this beautiful big map of radar and AIS inside the wheelhouse. You can see where other ships are in the ocean. You can see the charted coast. We have the opportunity to call people if we need them. So even if we didn't have that, I wouldn't feel, strange or in danger, but that adds a little extra layer of security. So it's been really, honestly, all these thoughts and fears I had going into, and when you're on the ship, you lose sight of that. You just sort of take in the wonder. It's an amazing experience.
All right, Jesse, before we let you go, I want to roll the dice. Last week, because of the weather, we were trapped below deck. What do you think? Let's go on deck for a minute and see if this connectivity will hold.
I'm going to take you. Okay, so here we go. So, well, first of all, you can see this beautiful, we've got our whole salon here. That's all really, really nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful vessel. So let's go on a little journey. I'm going to take us upstairs, and we are going to climb out on deck, right up the stairwell. Fingers crossed, everybody.
You see blue sky. That's promising.
Blue sky.
You got the netting up so you don't fall over. That's good.
Yeah, that's really good. There's the whole ship. There we go. We've got our mast. We've got all the way out here. Oh, we got this beautiful island. Oh, I don't know if you can see it yet. Here we go. Look at that. Look at this.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so thousands of seabirds, which are really tiny from your perspective, but they're all above the island. We've got a ton of people on the bow taking all sorts of pictures. We've got our ornithologist, Grant, who's very excitedly finding new species all the time. Over 320 species we've seen on this voyage. So that's really exciting. And we're going to be off this for the next half hour or so, just getting to explore and have just an amazing time. But as you can see, outside of this island, our view for the last few days has been open ocean. Little bit of nothing for a long period of time. So that's been super, super cool. So I'll just hang out here with our rigging and our island. Take us a little bit this way. This is great. We rolled the dice and we won. Amazing.
Yeah, there we go. Always worth trying.
Always worth trying.
All right. Jesse, one last question before we let you go. Tell us about the food.
The food's been amazing. So I've been telling everyone on the ship, I'm like, kids always want to know about the food. And they're like, really? No way. Yeah, we're not having hardtack and biscuits on board the ship. It has been amazing, we are. No, we're not. I swear. 2 and 3 course meals every day. This morning we woke up with bacon, some eggs. We had some great toast with all sorts of spreads out. We had some fancy oat stuff with slivered candied apple on it. We've had amazing chicken pie yesterday with green beans amandine. It's like being at a fine French restaurant, Joe. It's amazing.
Sounds pretty good. I know you like that fine food, so that's good.
I do.
Glad you're having some good meals.
Yes.
All right. Well, Jesse, I hate to let you go. The view is amazing, but we have a lot of other speakers to get to in today's event.
Well, have a wonderful, wonderful time. Say hi to everybody. Classes, please do email extra questions and enjoy the rest of this amazing Darwin 200 broadcast. Catch us next week, too. We do these all the time. Lots of opportunity to explore the world, and just so grateful for the opportunity to be on board, to get a chance to talk to you all today. So have a wonderful day, guys. Bye for now.
All right. Thanks, Jesse. We'll see
Thanks,
ya.
Joe. See ya.
All right. Well, to expand on an earlier question, what are we doing on the Darwin 200? Well, there's 3 main things that we're up to. One is research. So we have a bunch of cool projects going on. Jesse mentioned Grant, who is doing a global bird survey. So we already spotted more than 300 species of birds. We're doing the same for marine mammals like sea lions, whales, dolphins. We're checking out ocean plastics. So we're dragging nets in the water. In ports with coral, we're getting into the water and doing coral transects to look at the coral. The second thing we're doing is what we're doing right now, the world's most exciting classroom. Every week, beaming broadcasts live around the world. And the third thing is our Darwin leaders. So every port we visit, we bring in a group of young Darwin leaders, those who have already shown interest in conservation and are trying to make a difference on our planet. They get to spend a week with a local conservation group, with a camera operator as well, to learn about the conservation projects from turtles to whales to dolphins to shorebirds to forests. And then they make incredible videos to share with the general public about what's going on. And we have Karinne Tennenbaum with us today, one of our Darwin leaders. I'm going to bring her in right now. Hey, Karinne, how are you?
I'm good, Joe. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Where are you beaming in from today?
I'm beaming in from Ann Arbor, Michigan, actually, but I go to school in Yale University in New Haven, Connecticut, on the East Coast of the United States.
All right, very cool. So tell us a bit about where you got to go and the project you were able to work on.
Yeah, so I was investigating threats to shorebirds at the Cape Horn Biosphere Reserve at the southern tip of Chile in Puerto Williams. So I was actually in the Punta Arenas port in southern Chile. I got to go on the Agan ferry through the Beagle Channel for 32 hours to Puerto Williams on Navarino Island. So it was a really special expedition alongside my fellow Darwin leader, Heather Needham. We were able to look at the threats to shorebirds right there on the island, and we were driving along Y905, which is the southernmost highway in the world, and we were trying to investigate what threats are there to shorebirds right in that area. So Chile just released its Shorebird Conservation Action Plan, identifying 12 main threats across the country's landscape, including climate change, invasive species, pollution. And so we were surveying areas along this highway, looking for these threats at the local level, trying to see if there were differences and how we can approach those threats now before they turn into real potential threats on the island.
All right, very cool. So I wonder, we've talked to Darwin leaders from different places all over the world. They've all faced kind of different challenges in their projects. So what were some of the challenges you faced being out in the field with your team? Oh, Karinne, did you catch that question? I think maybe you might have lost our sound. Okay, let me send you a quick message. I'll just get you to try and exit and come back in, Karinne. I don't know if you can still hear, but I don't think Karinne can hear me. But good, Mr. Hancock's class saying you still got me, so that's good. So it must be something on Karinne's end. So if she sees my message, we'll get her to try and exit. There we go. She saw it. So we'll get her to come back in. We're going to play her little video. I see our next speaker has joined us backstage. So we're going to meet Ruth shortly. I'm really, really excited. I haven't seen her for a while, so I'm looking forward to catching up. Ruth, give me a thumbs up if you can hear and see okay from backstage. Yep, perfect. Perfect. Okay, we'll see you shortly. All right, we'll give Karinne a moment to come back and join us, and then we'll watch her first video that she created with the conservation team and her camera operator looking at the shorebirds in Punta Arenas in Chile. So we'll just give a moment to get her back in. Here she comes. Hey, Karinne, can you hear me now?
Yes, are we back?
Yeah, perfect. You lost the sound, but we got you now, so that's good.
Great.
It's just technology. What can you do? Okay, well, what do you think? Let's play the video and let's check out a little bit of the project.
Sounds great.
All right, so just bear with me for one moment. I'm going to kick the video up here on my screen, and then we will check it out. Here we go.
Geradriformes, also known as shorebirds, these gregarious curiosities are found on coasts around the world. They permit energy and nutrient exchanges between the land and sea, particularly nitrogen and phosphorus, enriching the biodiversity around them. Many face high energetic demands as they embark on epic long-distance migrations, traveling over tens of thousands of kilometers between Arctic summer breeding grounds and southern wintering sites. During this annual life journey, they depend on a network of habitats, particularly intertidal areas between terrestrial and aquatic systems. Chile is home to 49 species of shorebirds, approximately 40% of which are under some category of threat. The Cape Horn Biosphere Reserve, located at the southern tip of Chile, marks the end and joining point of the Pacific, Mid-Continent, and Atlantic flyways, major migratory routes for birds, extending from Alaska to Patagonia. It is one of the planet's last pristine environments, serving as a refuge for both migratory and resident shorebirds today.
My name is Karinne Tennenbaum, and I'm a Darwin leader. I believe in finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. Nowhere is that more evident than in birds. Beautiful sentinels of ecosystem health, that captivate both me and the world with their incredible diversity and fascinating behavior. Unfortunately, 5 years ago, I read a paper that revealed that in the last 50 years, we've lost 1/3 of the planet's birds. I strive to bring birds back. That's why I'm here at the Cape Horn International Center in Puerto Williams, Chile, to investigate threats to shorebirds.
To get here is a 10.5-hour flight from New York City to Chile's capital, Santiago. From there, another flight to Punta Arenas, the capital of Chile's southern Magellanic region. You can then catch a 2-hour flight to Puerto Williams or arrive by ferry, enjoying a scenic voyage through the Beagle Channel.
We're currently sailing in the Beagle Channel, so called because Darwin sailed here in 1834, nearly 200 years ago. He landed in Port Famine, at Puerto del Hambre, just south of Punta Arenas. It's a stark contrast to where we are now. We just passed La Isla Tierra del Fuego a couple hours ago, and as Darwin said, this is an irregular chains of hills, mottled with patches of snow, deep valleys of yellowish green, and arms of the sea intersecting with land in many directions. The strong wind, bitterly cold.
22 species of shorebirds can be found on the reserve's Navarino Island, nested within the Tierra del Fuego archipelago. However, the population and distribution of the birds here remains unknown.
Chile is an incredibly important location for migratory shorebirds. Upwards of 80% of the population of Hudsonian godwits winter in Chiloé, in central Chile.
Puerto Williams is a windy home to 2,000 residents, including the Yagan, the southernmost indigenous people on Earth. This is the southernmost town in the world, attracting great flocks of both tourists and shorebirds. In addition to their short breeding season, small clutch sizes, and high site fidelity, these vulnerable birds face an abundance of threats at their stopover sites, including human disturbance, pollution, and habitat fragmentation. As a result, much like the rest of the world's avian life, shorebirds have faced significant population losses in the last 40 years, with many species experiencing declines as great as 50%. In 2023, Chile launched its Shorebird Conservation Action Plan, a subsection of its National Bird Conservation Strategy for 2021 to 2030, bringing together more than 70 key stakeholders from across Chile's regions to protect the country's shorebirds.
This was an initiative to address where are the main threats over the bird populations, and also have a shorebird section where the specialists identify the principal threats over these kind of birds. These birds use very unique habitats associated with the land and with the sea, other kind of watershed. So there are critical sentinels for biodiversity, and also they migrate along many countries in Pacific and Atlantic routes. So they should be protected because they can connect ecosystem and also depend on many features of the entire biome.
The action plan identifies 12 main threats, including stray dogs, invasive species, and climate change.
Esta reserva de biosfera es una reserva que permite vincularse, integrar las comunidades locales en una región, ¿cierto?, que es única en el planeta, que está en un lugar aislado y remoto, considerado un laboratorio natural de importancia planetaria debido a que presenta un alto grado de pristinidad, es decir, bajo impacto antrópico, y sus ecosistemas prístinos todavía presentan también altos niveles de endemismo. Muchas especies vegetales y animales, flora, fauna terrestre, marina, solo están presentes aquí.
The threats vary in presence and severity across Chile's landscape. Identifying, categorizing, and ranking the threats in the Cape Horn Biosphere Reserve is the first and most crucial step to tailor conservation initiatives in Puerto Williams to the shorebirds on Navarino Island and guide future research efforts and long-term monitoring.
The landscape here is stunning. Looking out at these tall mountains and these roaring waters, you can feel positively tiny. And it reminds me of something else that Darwin wrote in his journal. It would be difficult to imagine a scene where man would have less claims or less authority. The inanimate works of nature, rock, ice, snow, wind, and water, all warring with each other, yet combined against man. Here reigned an absolute sovereignty. Darwin the poet. Anyway, tomorrow we'll be landing. We're about to land shortly in Puerto Williams, and tomorrow we'll be out in the field, out on Navarino Island, seeing what's going on the ground.
All right, let's bring Karinne back in. Wow, Karinne, that landscape, that part of the world is absolutely stunning. It's just beautiful.
Yes, totally. It was a pleasure to be there. I enjoyed all 10 days when I was there in January.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what we're going to do, Karinne, is I'm going to visit a few of our classrooms and we'll see if they have any questions about your time in Chile, about the shorebirds. So we'll just visit each classroom quickly just to see if they have a question for you. So let's start off. Let's mix up the order a little bit this time. Let's go to Miss Coburn's crew. They're joining us virtually. Miss Coburn's crew, do you have a question for us?
Hi, Karinne. Yeah, we're in the process of doing our data management. So we hear that you're researching, and we're just wondering what are some formats that you use to collect all your data?
Yes, that is an excellent question. So as you saw partially in the video, we're recording all of that by hand, actually. So I had data sheets that I made where we're recording the time, the weather, where we are. We're also using a GPS device. So we're dropping GPS points and looking at how far we've gone along the highway between those different areas. And we have a field guide. So we're using a field guide to help us record the species that we see. So we're doing this in a form of manual data recording itself. But then afterwards, we were able to use Excel and use data analysis spreadsheets so that we were able to calculate how many of the threats we saw along the way, where we found them.
Wonderful. Wow. It's nice to see that you're using technology as integrating it, right? And it's not the main star, right? Yeah. You're the main star, right? Your eyes, right? I keep telling my kids, it's what you see, right? Thank you, Karinne. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with your data collection, Ms. Coburn's crew. Mr. Hancock's class, do you have a question for Karinne?
Definitely. While we were watching the video, a few students really perked up when they said one of the threats was stray dogs. How are they affecting the birds?
Yeah, so stray dogs are actually a huge problem in the town. They sort of just run free, and they can actually chase the shorebirds themselves. They can actually eat the young of the shorebirds as they're hatching and running around on the beaches. And so they're sort of roaming without a lot of regulation from the local government themselves. And so this is a problem that's specific in the area and South America in general that you may not, for example, in the United States, we don't have this huge of a problem right there. So it's not intuitive, but they actually do play a big role in threatening those young in that crucial part of their life stage.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
All right. We have a biology class hanging out with us. Mrs. Ball's crew, do you have a question for Karinne?
Yeah, you mentioned invasive species as another threat to the shorebirds. Would you like to tell us about some of those?
Yes. So the American mink, which my fellow Darwin leader Heather Needham actually specifically studied during our time there, is the biggest invasive species in that part of the world right now, which is specifically preying on the eggs of local waterfowl that are there in Navarino Island, and it's sort of taken over, and it's able to sort of just at night and go along and prey on those specifically. When I was there, I didn't actually was able to see any of the invasive mink, which is why we rely on a lot of photography and local tourists that submit videos to the local government while we're there to track those. And so it just needs a lot more investigation on it. But the American mink is the main one that they're investigating in Navarino Island. But a great question. Thank you.
All right. And we have to visit our grade 6s. Grade 6s, do you have a question there for us?
Oh, we sure do.
Excellent.
What is your favorite animal and have you seen it?
That is an excellent question. So my favorite animal is birds for sure. And while I was down there, I was able to see the Magellanic penguins. So this was in Punta Arenas. We were able to go to a colony, and that was a really amazing time. I love all birds though, so I loved also seeing the black-browed albatross while we were on the Agan ferry sailing through the Beagle Channel. So those are really, really cool, and I encourage you to look them up.
Very nice.
All right.
Can we do
Thank
one
you,
more?
grade sixes.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to squeeze one more in?
If that's okay.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Why not?
Where is your favorite place to be?
Wow. That's an excellent question. I love to just be outside, just keep exploring. I loved being in Puerto Williams and Punta Arenas, but even here in my hometown of Ann Arbor, Michigan, there's a lot of nature areas, and just going out with friends or family to see local wildlife, spot birds, anywhere can be my favorite place, but just being able to experience the wonderful world around us.
All right. Thank you, grade sixes. And Karinne, thank you. It looks like you had an amazing time. What a beautiful part of the world. I'm sure you're still digesting it and taking in the experience, but I'm really glad with your passion being birds that you were able to collaborate with a project like this.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I love telling you all about it. We finished filming our 3 documentaries, so hopefully those will be up shortly for you guys to hear about the rest of the project.
All right, excellent. Well, enjoy the rest of your day there in Michigan, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Have a great day, everyone, and keep enjoying the live stream.
All right, thank you. So we are going to move right along. We're going to run long because that's just what we do here. We jam so much into the world's most exciting classroom. We do it every week. So, but I thought because we're in Peru that we should talk to somebody on the land who's in Peru right now. And we're so excited to have Ruth Maria with us. She has joined us on at Exploring by Seat Your Pants on many occasions when she was working at OSA Conservation in Costa Rica. I think we had her hanging up in trees, in harnesses, checking camera traps. I think we visited her on the tree farm and all sorts of other really exciting places. So I'm going to bring her in live with us right now. Hey, Ruth, how are you?
Hi, Joey. How are you doing? I'm very good. Thanks for inviting me to this classroom.
Oh, of course. We're thrilled to have you. Why don't you start off and just tell us a little bit about yourself and where you are right now?
Of course. So hi, everybody. My name is Ruth Mary Wayqecha. I am a wildlife biologist. I'm from Cusco in Peru, from the high Andes. Right now we are studying Andean bears in the cloud forest of Wayqecha Biological Station as part of the NGO Conservación Amazónica and the Rolex and National Geographic Perpetual Planet Amazon Expedition. So right now, this is my office. This is the biological station. In a moment, I'm going to show you around the thing, but first, I would like to show you some slides so you know exactly where we are and what is the Andean bear, not if many of you are wondering.
All right, that sounds absolutely perfect, Ruth. Do you want, let's try the screen share. This is going to be a little bit of a test from the field. Hopefully it works nice and smoothly for us. If you want to jump down to the bottom, you'll see that present option.
Okay, perfect.
And then the first option is share screen. So you want to click that one.
Mm-hmm.
It might give you a tip. You can just click close it or don't show it again. And then with any luck, it's going to show you 3 options. An entire screen works the best.
Okay, so I should compartir pantalla. Oh, no, it's not working.
Did it show you, when you click the share screen, Ruth, did it show you the 3 options?
Yes.
Okay, so when you click entire screen, it's a little bit strange. There's a picture of your screen. You have to click on it first, and then the share button will light up.
Okay.
A little bit different than your normal share.
Yes, a little bit different. Like we can figure out. Okay.
I see it coming up. Perfect.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yep, nice and full screen. We're ready for you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So first, I would like to introduce you Wayqecha, where we are located. So here we have the map of the world. We have South America. If we go closer, we are in the southeast of Peru, in Manu National Park, which is one of the most biodiverse places on the earth. And just on the side is located Wayqecha Biological Station. So why this place is very important? So on this place, we are located in the middle of the cloud forest. So you might wonder, what is the cloud forest? As you can see here on the video, it's like a flying rivers of clouds. No, the cloud forests play a key role in the hydrological cycle of the water in the Amazon basin. No, the transpiration from the trees, from the lowland forest, from the Atlantic Ocean, all form the clouds, and with the wind they push to the Andes, and here we attract all these clouds with the array of orchids, mosses that the trees are covered, no? And these mosses and orchids act like sponges, no? They are absorbing all the humidity, and little by little they are releasing the water, forming the streams, the river, and finally goes to the Amazon and the Atlantic Ocean. So it's play a key role. It's a unique ecosystem that have many endemic species, many species of birds, mammals. But something very interesting here in this ecosystem is we have the Andean bear, or the spectacle bear. No, so I don't know. You might watch the movie called Paddington. So the Paddington was made in taking as the Andean bear, no, as the main personage who traveled from the dark of Peru to London. But also the Andean bear play a key role in our culture. No, you can see in our screen this guy with the black mask. So it's a personification of the Andean bear, no, having the mask of like the face of the bear, no. So these guys play a key role in our culture, as they are the guardians of the glacier. And on the side you can see a man and his calves. So Andean bears are threatened species. They are vulnerable. We can find them across the Andes, from Venezuela to Bolivia. And they are like medium-sized bears, almost the size of the black bears for a comparison. But what makes them very different is the facial markings. No, in many cases they look like spectacles. No, that's why they are also called the spectacle bears. And these facial markings are very important, as they are unique as our finger footprints. So that's the way how we identify bear individuals. So here is just saying hello to everybody. This is a independent calf, no, 2 years calf approximately. So these are the Andean bears, no? But to do our research here, we want to understand the secret life of these bears, no? What they are eating, how they're moving, where they spend most of their time. So we have to do expedition, and that's why we are here. So we are very dynamic team made up of national and international students, researchers. We have volunteers from around the world, interns, but the most importantly is that we work with local people, with local communities, that they join us in our expedition. And also here, an important part of the team is Ukuku, our dog, no, who is helping us on the finding bear scabs. No? She's also a very important part of our team. So with all the team, what we do these expeditions. We go from the Puna grassland. Sometimes we have to take horses. We hike for days, camping, walking, setting camera traps across the gradient, no? From 4,000 meters to 200 meters, from Puna grassland to the lowland rainforest. In so many cases, we have to be very creative and build on our bridges, no? Especially in the lowland part where the rivers are very big. So thanks to these expeditions, we were able to identify about 45 different bear individuals. No? As you can see on the screen, the facial markings are very different for all of them. So that helps us to identify the bears. And something I really like about the bears, they are almost like humans. No? They have the same, they have this personality as us. Some of them are grumpy bears, some of them are like shy bears, some of them are very happy, no? Some of them just go to the cameras and take down all the cameras, they move the cameras, some of them play with the cameras, so they are very similar to us, no? And you can see the camera on the sides, no? So one bear just was very playful and just by the camera tracks, no? But not only that, so with the camera traps, we can understand how the bears are using the different habitat, no? Do they like to spend more time in the cloud forest, in the lowland rainforest? So that's the camera traps going to help to answer this question, no? But we also want to know what they are eating, what's the main food for them. So could you imagine being in the cloud forest or in the grassland finding a bear scat, a bear poo is very hard. So what we do is we have Ukuku. Ukuku, I rescue from a shelter and I start training her. So Ukuku now is very important part of the team. She helped us to find bear scat. And you can see here Norma, she's collecting some bear scat for analysis. So if you are wondering what are these berries on the picture, this is a bear poo. As the bears are carnivorous, they don't digest very well the fruits. That's why they're almost entire. And on the right side, you can see the same bear poo, but look up. There are some seedlings. So bears are very, very important seed dispersers. They can disperse over 150 different tree species. Could you imagine that? And also very interesting thing about the bear is they can move freely from forest to the grassland habitat, helping the trees to survive. But what we are trying to do also is to understand in a fine detail how the bears are moving. We are using this technology with telemetry, where we are using satellite collars, as you can see on the picture. So we have a team of wildlife vets, local people, our team, where we capture these bears and we place these satellite collars. And thanks to these collars, we start understanding how the bears are moving. You can see on the left side is Sunchu, who is moving very close to Wayqecha. Sometimes they do these long explorations, but they have places where they spend most of their time. They have it's like their home. They have the sleeping place. They have a good food to eat. On the right side, you can see Ruru, another bear, but he's more adventurous bear. And here I would like to highlight is the importance of bears, and also the importance to work with the government, with the community, because the bears, as many other wildlife species, they don't know about political boundaries. So what Ruru's been doing, he's been spending time inside Mano National Park, on 2 private conservation area, 1 regional conservation area, and 5 communities. So it's incredible this bear how it's moving. So that's why the importance of having connectivity, having corridors, having biological and climate corridors. So that's something I want to share you. So about the Andean bears, what we are doing, and in a moment I can show you around the station.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take a little walk around the station. I know you have a second camera in here for us, which is awesome. I will bring that into the screen. And then once I see it load up, I'll close your other one so that we don't get too much sound.
Now, can you see me?
Yeah, we gotcha.
That's perfect. Technology is working very good here right now. It's a good day.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is our lab, where we work. We also host several researchers. So I would like to introduce now the team. So here we have Mark.
Hello, my name's Mark Thomas. I'm the outreach coordinator here at Wayqecha, and more importantly, this is a cuckoo, the working conservation dog, part of the diet monitoring program.
Thank you, Mark. So what you're doing?
So here I'm just looking at a map of some of, so as mentioned, we put some collars on some of the bears. So here I'm just looking at some of the maps, so looking at where they spend most of their time to kind of understand a little bit more about the importance of the area. And so you can see here, this is Wayqecha, and then you can see where the bears spend most of their time. So.
Thank you, Mark. So here we have Elias. Hola, Elias.
Hi, my name is Elias. Is support and monitoring camera trap. Is the high we can see marking behaving from Indian bear.
So what Elias is doing, he's checking camera traps. It's a particular behavior that bears do is they have marking trees, So they have their favorite tree, and different bear individuals will go to the same spot, to the same tree, and do a marking behavior where either they scratch the back or the chest, and they might leave some smell. And another bear will go to the same tree and do the same behavior. So we are trying to understand why are they doing that, why they choose this specific tree, things like that, So we go moving further. We have here Norma. Hola, Norma.
Hello, my name is Norma. I am Botanics Project Coordinator In this moment, I check in the species. This is an important species in the diet bird.
So here you can see maybe a pile of newspapers. So those are all data. So what we've been doing is we've been collecting plant samples from the forest, and we then dry up, no, like here. So we then identify the species, and then we place these samples on the herbarium. So other researchers can also identify the species. So that's very important part of our job. Like here, no, these are the bromeliads. They are from the pineapple family, and they are the main important food source for the bears, no. So, but they don't eat the fruit. What they eat are the leaves, no. So what they do is they chew the base of the leaves. It's very tasty. I tried. But here also Norma is showing us the bear scales. So this is from the bromelia. So as I was saying in the beginning, no, Ukuku helped us to find the bear scale. So we bring back then to the lab and we identify the species, no? So it's a whole process, no? So that's what the team is doing here. Here we have Alessia. Hi, Alessia.
Hi, my name is Alexia. I am a wildlife veterinarian at Wayqecha Biological Station. And here we are studying Indian bear reproduction. We are working with males. And with this, we can know more about the morphology of the spermatozoa. And here we can see like the motility, la concentration, and progressive too.
Excellent, thank you, Alessia. No? So that's the team, and here we can see Merinia. She's just getting ready all the equipment we might need to do our bear capture. No? So right now we have 5 bear traps active, so we just waiting for alert methods, and all the things goes. We can capture the bear and we can apply this satellite collar. So we keep moving. We have here part of the team while they are hiding. So I'm just going to take you to the forest. So our station is located in the middle of the cloud forest, as I say. Right now we're still on the rainy season, so we have some rains. So as was explaining about the cloud forest, no, you can see to the difference of the rainforest is that small trees and they are covered in mosses, no. Those are like sponges, no. They are like capturing the moisture from the clouds, and they are very smooth, and that's made possible for many species of mosses and orchids to live in these ecosystems. So right now, so I like this view here, so you can see to those coming, no, move to this part of the.
All right, Ruth Marie, I don't know if you can still hear me, but I think we might have lost. Oh, there, you're back. We lost you for a second. So I think Ruth Mary is just trying to show us a little bit of the view over the forest. Unfortunately, I think maybe a little bit too far from the connectivity. So I think we might have lost our connection. Hopefully she's able to get closer and we'll have her back for a few moments. All right, the spinning wheel, that's usually a good sign. It means the phone's trying to reconnect. There we go.
Okay, I'm back.
We gotcha.
Perfect. Okay, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have no doubt that there'll be questions. Ruth Marie, before I do that, I'm going to load up a Kahoot quiz as well. We're going to do the Kahoot quiz together while we do some questions. So just bear with me for 1 second while I share my screen.
Perfect.
And then as students are joining, we're going to get some questions from them as well. So we're going to multitask today. Okay, so the Kahoot is just loading. I'm going to share my screen here for the students. Share screen, Kahoot. So you want to go to kahoot.it. 3. So while students start to join us, I'm going to grab some questions from our classes. We'll start off with our Linwood grade 6s.
Come on in, guys. We need to ask our questions. Who's got a question ready? They're ready for us. Anyone?
Did you put that?
I did write your question, Elizabeth, but why don't you come up and ask it?
Yeah, we like to hear the voices.
Okay.
What animals are in the cloud forest?
Which animals? Yes, we have the spectacled bear or the Andean bear. We have the foxes. We have the pumas. We have the small cat, the Andean cat. It's a very tiny cat. We have the monkeys, like the woolly monkey, and many species of birds.
All right. Very cool. Thank you, grade 6s. I'm going to grab another class here. Let's see if Mr. Hancock's crew has a question for us.
Definitely. We wanted to know more about the conservation dog and what they do and how they help out.
Yeah, Ukuku. So what Ukuku does is she goes out with the team and she goes and try to find bear poo. And so we train her on the way that when she finds it, she sits. So we know that she found something, and then she receives a reward.
Perfect.
All right, very cool. Mrs. Ball's biology class. Do you have a question for Ruth at the biological station?
Yeah, how do you identify the species in the scat that you find?
Yeah, so we use microscopes. So we take a little bit of sample of the bear poo and try to identify through the seeds. So we have to go through the seeds. We are building also a library. We have books, guides, and then try to identify the seeds or the plant tissues. No, it's a bit complicated, but now we are trying to also use molecular, genetic, more advanced technology. So we are going to send our bear poo for molecular analysis. No, that will give more on detail what's actually the bears eating.
All right. Thank you, Miss Ball's crew. And we have to visit Miss Colburn's virtual class, 7 and 8s. Do you have a question for us?
Yeah, you introduced us to so many people that you're working with. We were just wondering, when you have your time off or you have your holidays, how do you get caught up on everything?
Yeah, it's a good question. So pretty much the biological station is our house. We spend almost 3 weeks every month here. So it's a bit complicated. No, we don't really have holidays or time off. We are always checking things. We are like, when we have the bears with the colors, the good thing is we see on the phone, no, where is the bear? So I always checking the bear on the phone, what is he's doing, where is he? So yeah, wow. It's a bit complicated. But what we do here is we have our Saturday night fun, so where the team gather together and we do some fun activities, no?
Excellent. You need to have some fun, right? Thank you very much. Yeah. We really enjoyed our time.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I think we're ready to play some Kahoot. I'm going to take it down for just a second. Ruth Marie, you're welcome to stay while the students play Kahoot, but if you need to get back to work, that's okay as well. Thank you so much for taking us to the field station, for introducing us to the amazing work you do with the Andean bears. And it was so nice to see your team and to see a little bit of the cloud forest today.
Excellent. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, everybody. Have a good time. And remember, we need to take care of nature. If you have any park nearby, any forest, go for it, have a walk. Try to know your local flora, the plants that you have, the animals that you have. And if you have some time, visit us here at Wayqecha in the Cloud Forest in Manu National Park. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Very, very cool. Let's play some Kahoot. Here we go. Students are just still 1 or 2 trickling in, but we better get it going because we still have to do our experiments before we wrap up today, which I'll try and do nice and quickly so that we can wrap up not too late today. So here we go. We're going to jump into our quiz. I have 4 questions for you today, a little bit about shorebirds and a little bit about the forest. So our first question, how many species of shorebirds are found in Chile? Did Karinne tell us 10, 49, 66, or 78? I know that feels like a long time ago because we've had 3 different beam-ins around the world, but was it 10? Was it 49? Was it 66? Or 78 species of shorebirds in Chile? Got 2 more seconds. Oh, well done, crew. It is 49 species. Very, very good. The snowy kitten is in first place, and we will go to our next question. A true and false coming your way. Shorebirds transfer nutrients between land and the ocean. Is that true or is that false? That shorebirds transfer nutrients between land and the ocean. True or false? You have a few more seconds to lock in an answer there. True or false that shorebirds are transferring nutrients between land and the ocean? It is absolutely true. That puts the awesome bison in first place. Let's go to our next question. It is another multiple choice. What kind of forest is Ruth Mary in? So they're doing their work. Is it a temperate forest? Is it a dry forest? Is it a cloud forest? Or is it the lowland forest? So what forest type? We were just at that beautiful biological station, field station in Peru. What kind of forest was it? Temperate, dry, cloud, or a lowland forest? You have a few more seconds to lock in your answer, and then we'll go to our final question for today. All right, it is in fact a cloud forest. Excellent job, crew. We have one more question to go. The witty giraffe has taken the lead. Here we go. True and false. True or false. Andean bears are known as the guardians of the rainforest. Is that true or is that false? There's a picture clue coming in here for you. Andean bears are known as the guardians of the rainforest. True or false? A couple more seconds to lock in your true or false. All right. I thought I might trick a few students there. They do live in the rainforest, but they are found in many other areas around Peru and other places in South America. And actually, they were referred to as the guardians of the glacier. So the guardians of the glacier. But of course, they do spend a lot of time in the rainforest. And they're so important for that seed dispersal. Hundreds of species of seeds are moved around the forest, into the grasslands outside of the rainforest, and back and forth between those 2 ecosystems. So let's take a look at our leaderboard. In third place, we had the cute hawk. In second place, we had the happy leopard. And in first place, we've got the smart koala. That was a fun round of Kahoot. We had a lot of movement this time. Nobody was able to hold the lead all the way through. If you are in that class, the smart koala, you need to email classroom@darwin200.com. Let me know who the smart koala was, because we have a prize for you. So thank you, smart koala. Classroom@darwin200.com. Get me a message. Oh, I need to take a little pause here. This event has been absolutely jam-packed today, and we still have to wrap up with our experiment and our curiosity. So 2 weeks ago, we had an experiment. Actually, before we do that, let me just stop the music. You might still hear the music playing on my side. We have not been able to connect with expedition leader Stuart McPherson for a while because he has been bouncing around in the field, in the Falklands, in Chile, making trips to Australia, back in the UK. There's a lot going on with the Darwin 200 that's been keeping him busy. But joining us from the Darwin studio, we do have Stuart with us today. Hey, Stuart.
Hello, Joe. It's lovely to speak to you. How are you?
Yeah, good. It is great to have you with us. It's been a while since we've been able to catch you at the right time to get you into the studio.
It has been a little while, hasn't it? I guess when I was on the ship for sailing from Punta Arenas would be the last time, I think.
Yeah, we had you on the ship going through the fjords of Chile with your son, Louis, which was so cool. How was that? I imagine you guys had a blast.
It was absolutely incredible. It's such an amazing adventure being on the ship. And yeah, we hope you guys are going to join us as we get to the Galapagos. We've got the highlight of the entire 2-year voyage coming up in a few weeks' time, with some amazing experiments and projects and activities planned for the whole week while we're in the Galapagos.
I can't wait. We're going to broadcast live every day during the middle week from the field. it should be pretty wild. It should be pretty special.
Absolutely right. But for now, though, we've got some pretty good experiments over the next few weeks for you guys to take part in. Well done for everyone that sent in their results so far through past experiments. We've got 3 crystal experiments. These jars here, you'll see in the next week or two. We're doing different experiments with baking soda today, and potassium permanganate to make purple crystals, and copper sulfate to make bright blue ones. So we've got some pretty cool crystal experiments coming up, some bioluminescence projects as well. So we really hope you'll take part in the experiments that we run from here, the Darwin studio.
All right, excellent. No more experiments, at least for a little while, from my office or my kitchen. We're going to have a few from the Darwin studio, which is going to be great. It is such a great setup. We're glad to have you back there, Stu.
Oh, thank you. It's lovely to be back.
All right. Well, Stu, you're welcome to stick around if you want. I am going to tuck you backstage temporarily because we need to catch up and wrap up with some experiments. So first of all, we need to catch up on the experiment from 2 weeks ago. I'm going to share my screen and we'll talk through it together. It should only take us a couple minutes. I want to make sure I pick the right one because one of them is a little bit longer than the other. There it is. Okay, so let's talk about that experiment. Then I added, I'm going to mute my volume as well because I can talk about it here. So this was a 2-parter. We started with cold water and warm water. We had the ice in the water for the one, and we boiled some water in the kettle, and we watched how the dye dispersed in the water. We watched it very slowly move through the cold. You can see it's dropping down slowly and spreading in the water very, very slowly. Then we watched the hot, and we saw it moved much, much quicker through that warm, that hot water. And so the reason that's happening is the way the molecules are moving, and it's different between the 2 jars. In the first jar, it's very, very cold, so the molecules slow down. They're not bumping against each other as much. They're not moving around as much. So you saw how slowly the dye dispersed in the cold water. In the hot water, it's a very, very, very different situation. The molecules are moving around like crazy. They're bumping against each other and generating heat. So when we put the dye in here, immediately we had it spread through the whole container. Then I got a little daring for part 2, and I put the 2 jars on top of each other with the help of a little piece of cardboard. And with the warm jar on top, what we noticed was there wasn't a lot of mixing. And that's because even though they're both water, their weights are a little bit different. The cold water is much denser and heavier, so it sinks to the bottom. And that warm water kind of sits on top. But then when I did a flip very carefully in my kitchen, we had a very, very different result, with the cold water on top being a little denser, a little heavier. Immediately, we had those colors change to purple. There was an immediate mix of the warm and the cold water. So you can see the difference here. And now we're going to do that little flip, and we will see that immediate change. There we go. Immediately purple, everything mixed. The cooler water was able to sink and mix with that warmer water. So that was a 2-parter experiment that we had. A lot of fun to do. A little bit risky in the kitchen. Could have been a bit of a watery dye mess, but everything worked out. Sometimes science works beautifully. Sometimes science gets messy. So to finish up, I want to share our newest experiment live from the Darwin Lab. Let me share the video file. Let's take a look at our experiment.
Welcome back, everyone. Today's experiment focuses on growing your very own crystals using baking soda. This is a really fun experiment to undertake at home or in your classroom at school. You need some baking soda, about 1/4 cup or so will do, some hot water from a kettle, 2 jam jars, and a piece of string about 30 centimeters long with 2 paper clips tied to each end. And recommended is some food coloring, which you can use to make different colored crystals. The first step in this experiment is to fill up a beaker or cup with boiling water. Obviously do so under the supervision and care of a responsible adult, parent or teacher. Try and fill your cup, your beaker, up to about 500-ish milliliters, like I'm doing here. And then you have to add the baking soda. It's very important that you make a saturated solution. That means you put in as much baking soda as possible until no more will dissolve. At that point, the solution is saturated. So do so little by little at a time and give it a good stir. Baking soda often fizzes, so be a little bit careful as you put it in. Just mix it in as you go. And just repeat as many times as you can. Generally, it'll take about approximately 1/4 cup in 500 milliliters. So just keep mixing it away. So my solution is getting pretty close to saturation. I'm noticing less and less dissolves the more I put in. Let's keep adding it till we get leftover baking soda at the bottom. That shows that no more can be dissolved. There we go, I've put in about 10 spoonfuls of baking soda now, and I think my solution is pretty much saturated. I can see there's a little bit left over on the bottom of the beaker and no more is dissolving. So I think that's about as much baking soda as we can dissolve. The next step is very carefully, you have to pour it into 2 jars or beakers or cups. Remember that the water is hot, so do so again with the help of an adult. Pour in roughly the same quantity in both beakers. So you should end up, yep, that looks pretty even to me. Now comes the fun part. You can choose the color of the crystals that you're going to make. If you just use the baking soda solution as it is, like this, the crystals will be white. But if you put in food coloring, you can transform the color of the 2 solutions, which will impact the color of the crystals that you grow. I'm going to add in some red food coloring and some yellow food coloring to make yellow and red crystals. I think I'll put yellow in here. Let's try a little squirt of that. There we go. I'll just give that a quick mix. And in this one, I'm going to put in some red food coloring. See if we can make some nice red crystals. Give that a little mix too. You're then ready to put your 2 solutions on an even surface where the water will evaporate away. A windowsill is absolutely perfect for this. So place them there. Then add your piece of string with the 2 paper clips. You can just tie the paper clips to each side. Roughly 30 centimeters or so would be good. Then you have to position the 2 solutions so the paper clip weighs down the string. You need the paper clip at the bottom of both jars or beakers, but the string roughly horizontal or dipped a little bit in the middle. You then have to leave the 2 solutions alone for about a week. Come back every day and see what happens. With luck, you should see crystals starting to grow along the string. Replicate this experiment at home or at your classroom at school and send in photos to showcase how your crystals are growing. Email your photos to classroom@darwin200.com for a chance to win one of 3 £50 Amazon gift voucher prizes. Good luck in growing your crystals and join me in 2 weeks' time to find out the results of my experiment. See you then.
All right, great to have an experiment from the Darwin studio. Very, very cool. Classroom@darwin200.com. You have 2 weeks to send in your results. Do this in the classroom. Maybe you'll do it at home with your parents. It's a very easy experiment to do. You'll probably have most of the materials around your home, and it takes about a week. So if you're going to do it, you want to get started soon. We want to see pictures of you working on the experiment. Send them in to classroom@darwin200.com. And then, of course, we'll have some prizes for the top 3 results that we do have sent in. So please take some time, try the crystal growing experiment. Classroom@darwin200.com. You have 2 weeks before we will share the results video. We'll see how Stu did in the studio. Well, here we go. We are about to wrap up for today, but I cannot do so without talking about our curiosity of the week. So last week's curiosity was from my office. Here we go. This is, well, I have many plants in my office, but this is one of my favorites here. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about it. We did have answers sent in, and several guessed this type of tree and where it was from. It is a bonsai tree. And so that word comes from Japanese, and it literally means trees in containers, so planted in a container. Now, originally, the idea for this came from China, ancient China, where they'd make entire landscapes. But then about 700 years ago, they started to do it in Japan and focus just on the single tree. So it is a very interesting hobby where people work with these trees for years, doing little snips and little prunes and building incredible shapes with the trees. I'm told it's very calming. I just like having it in my office. I don't know how much I'll actually prune it in the future. I just think it's a beautiful little tree to bring a little outdoors into the office. So a bonsai tree from Japan, literally meaning planted in a container, and happening for over 700 years, this art form of working with these bonsai trees. Very, very cool. So we need a curiosity for this week. So let's share our little video. It's about 30 seconds long. And then we're going to be almost ready to say goodbye for today. So here we go. Let us share the final video piece.
Last time that you went to the beach, did you see any barnacles? These are the little hard creatures that live encrusted to rocks. They're very common right the way around the world. Here's an example of a giant barnacle from the tropics. Most barnacle species are much, much smaller, a centimetre or so in size, but this one here is huge. Well, for hundreds of years, naturalists wondered and tried to work out which group of organisms barnacles belong to. Charles Darwin actually spent 8 years studying barnacles and wrote an entire monograph, a book, about all of the known species as he tried to trace them through the fossil record and answer the question of which animal group they belong to. The answer isn't as easy as it might seem. Do you think they're a type of mollusk, like a shellfish? There are many mollusks that grow very similar to barnacles, like mussels that can often go anchored to rocks, just like these barnacles. Or do you think they're a different group? Send in your answers to info@darwin200.com for a chance to win a £50 Amazon gift voucher prize. We'll reveal the answer in next week's World's Most Exciting Classroom.
All right, a little twist on the curiosity of the week. So we know what we're looking at. We're looking at a barnacle, but we need to think about what group it belongs to. So classroom at darwin200.com, you have 1 week for the curiosity of the week, 2 weeks for the experiment, 1 week for the curiosity of the week. Oh, that was an amazing World's Most Exciting Classroom. We started off on the ship with Jesse. So lots of classrooms joined us from Exploring by Seat Your Pants to say hi to Jesse and hear about his time. We saw that beautiful island, the little Galapagos off the coast. So they've just made landfall. They're going to sail past that little island. We should get some great video of sea lions and maybe some dolphins, lots of seabirds. I know Grant will be really happy getting some more seabirds to add to his running count of over 300 species of birds so far. Then we went and we met Karinne, and she talked about working with the Shorebird Conservation Organization in Chile, and we got to watch her first video. We beamed to the cloud forest just inside Manu National Park with Ruth Mary, and we got to meet her team and learn about the work they're doing with the Andean spectacled bear. I'm so glad we got to meet their dog, the scat-finding dog. That's absolutely amazing to have that furry teammate. And we got to see Stu. We got to see Stu in the studio, which was great. I see him working away still back there on the computer. I don't think Stu's job ever ends. I'm going to bring Stu in. Maybe we'll just say a quick hi to Stu. Stuart, it was so great to see the studio and to have our experiment, our curiosity from the studio.
Absolutely. And in the coming weeks, we're going to be doing a lot more experiments from the field as well, from the Galapagos and from the amazing locations that we're going to. Remember, we're only a quarter of the way throughout that 2-year voyage. So all of our adventures are really only still beginning.
That's right. That's right. Well, Stuart, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for filming in the Darwin studio. I should give a shout out to George, who I know is very helpful at filming and editing. So again, Stu, great to see you. I hope to see you. I guess I'll see you in the Galapagos in a bit, but I'll be on the ship shortly as well. And so we'll do some live stuff from the ship. So that should be fun.
Perfect.
All right.
Look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks, Stuart. We'll see you soon. Now, as we always end up, we have to give a huge shout out to our sponsors, to our partners. Without them, none of this would be possible. We wouldn't be sailing the beautiful Oosterschelde around the world. We wouldn't be having these world's most exciting classrooms. So let's wrap up today. Thank you, everyone, for being with us. I see lots of classrooms were able to stick around a little bit extra today. I promise I won't jam pack it next week with so many speakers. But let's wrap up with a little shout out to our sponsors, to our supporters. I hope everyone has a great week. And we'll see you again soon at the world's most exciting classroom.